Thanks for taking the time to learn about the QuadStrat Strategic Business Performance Assessment. In this short video, I will explain the assessment model, the content, application, and of course the significant organizational benefits. This tool has been used by over 5,000 companies and government agencies with great benefit. I'll provide some case studies to demonstrate the benefits as we proceed through the program. Virtual CO Inc., the parent company of QuadRed, which is the division that produces our online assessments, has been in business nearly 20 years. We serve both the private and public sector organizations as well as the consultant community. We provide our online business assessments to conveniently and comprehensively evaluate the current performance of their organizations across multiple dimensions. The QuadStrat assessment was deployed using primary and secondary research of both successful companies and practices endorsed by noted business leaders and authors. All cases and citations are contained in our book, Mastering Strategy: Insights from the World's Best Leaders and Thinkers. When you complete the QuadStrat assessment, you are essentially comparing your organization to the best-run companies in the world. QuadStrat is fast and it's convenient. In less than 45 minutes, CEOs, government directors, and business owners will get a very clear picture of their overall performance and the degree to which his or her managers and staff are aligned with organizational goals and strategies. But let me start by making it clear that QuadStrat is not a climate survey. QuadStrat is a much more comprehensive business evaluation. For those of you who have completed your MBA or are familiar with the scope of an MBA, you know that business degrees include a variety of topics, including finance, economics, marketing, operations, communication, HR, IT, and many other subjects. Well, QuadStrat includes all of these factors. It's much more than a climate survey. It's essentially an MBA in a can. In fact, many business schools, including the Anderson School of Management at UCLA, the Graziadillo Business School at Pepperdine University, Duke University, Loyola, and many others, have included QuadStrat as part of their MBA curriculum. QuadStrat was developed around our proprietary Organization Dynamic Model, or ODM for short. I'll give you a very quick overview. If you'd like more information, you can download the model from the link that you see on your screen. The Organization Dynamic Model is divided into three categories: strategy, design, and culture, where strategy houses the business disciplines, design has the infrastructure disciplines, and culture contains the human disciplines. As we look down each column, I just want to give you a brief overview of what these key components mean. 1.1 is all about who you are, where you're going, and how well you can compete. 1.2 discusses those issues that are happening outside your company with competition or with customers. 1.3 is essentially the value chain for your organization, beginning with research and development, production, marketing, sales, and of course customer service, with finance as the life's blood that pays for all this stuff. And 1.4 is all about how well you execute your plan, how you resource it. Under design, we look at the way your organization is structured. Does it make sense given the strategy you're trying to achieve? 2.2 talks about your core competencies and how you can leverage them for more customers and for more profit, or in the case of government organizations, more revenue. 2.3 talks about communication and your IT protocols. And finally, 2.4 talks about the rules and regulations, your roles and responsibilities, and whether or not you should do work inside or outsource it to other individuals. As we get into the culture disciplines, 3.1 looks at values, those sacred tenets that matter most to your organization. 3.2 looks at what it means to be a leader and how it feels to work for the boss. 3.3 looks at the sequential nature of human resources, from recruiting to orientation to training development, performance, accountability, and lastly, how people are rewarded for their efforts. And finally, 3.4 looks at the informal nature of the organization from a human perspective, whereas 3.1, the values might be something you see on a poster or an annual report. Down at 3.4, you're looking at how it feels when you work there for 90 days. Is it really an open environment? How is conflict decided and dealt with? What about feedback from your employees, and are you nimble enough to change? That's the overview of the organization dynamic model. Another way to understand the ODM is to use a house metaphor, where strategy is the design of the house, what it will look like, how big, what will it cost, how will we pay for it, and so on. Design is the infrastructure, how the inhabitants must navigate the room layout, internal systems, and the like. And culture is how it feels to live in the house, formal or informal, active or passive, functional or dysfunctional. We offer multiple editions of the assessment, including standard or corporate, nonprofit, government, church or ministry, credit union, and education. We call the full QuadStrat assessment, using all 35 disciplines in the ODM, the enterprise version. We also provide subsets of the enterprise version for employees, board, and for small businesses. The performance and engagement insights provided by QuadStrat are truly extraordinary. I can tell you from experience that CEOs and senior executives are often surprised to see the range of performance perspectives among their senior team and between the senior team, middle management, and staff groups. For example, not everyone may agree that the marketing strategy is effective or that employee engagement and retention efforts are working well. If you want an honest, real-time account of your organization, try QuadStrat. All assessments provide performance scores in one form or another, but performance is only half the story. Human nature causes people to focus on improving lower scores. If this discipline is underperforming, I guess we should fix it. But what if the disciplines with the lower scores are considered less important by most of your organization? Well, our unique ranking and prioritization feature clearly targets the areas on which your managers and staff believe you should focus your attention. We call this the red zone, which I will explain shortly. Let me give you a very clear example of how QuadStrat was an eye-opener for a CEO and a game changer for the senior team. I was working with a billion-dollar credit union in Southern California, and the CEO, who was a very intelligent and driven gentleman, was in love, you might say, with the idea du jour. Someone's doing online banking, we should do online banking. Somebody has ATMs and 7-Elevens, we should do the same thing. What can we do to improve the organization? Which was admirable. But he kept imposing new projects on his 22-member senior team. And a couple would say, "Boss, I think we're getting a little overwhelmed with the projects that we're doing." And he thought, of course, it was a couple of naysayers where 20 other people were happy with the process. Until we did QuadStrat. And deep in the red zone is this thing called resource alignment, which simply says, are we considering the workload for individuals before we give them more work? Well, because the resource alignment was deep in the red zone, it couldn't have gotten there unless most of the individuals ranked it as important and also low performing. And so when I shared that with the group and I said, it doesn't get here unless most of you feel this way, who'd like to go first? Then the conversation that had been sheltered in the past came to the surface, and the CEO was aware of the fact that he was causing some problems with the bulk of his senior team and not just a couple. That's just one of the insights provided by QuadStrat that you won't get in a climate survey. In addition to being a very effective baseline performance assessment tool, QuadStrat has been used for several specific applications. For example, a new CEO or executive director can quickly determine the personality of his or her organization and, of course, the performance. QuadStrat can be used to evaluate merged or acquired organizations to determine if the business and cultural disciplines of each company are compatible or divergent. We often use the tool as a precursor to strategic planning to capitalize on capabilities and to mitigate constraints. Or you can use QuadStrat to see if an issue was overlooked, or to determine organizational readiness to execute your plan based on the attitudes and knowledge of your managers and staff. In short, QuadStrat will provide more comprehensive and essential performance information than any other assessment, and will do so in just minutes. Let's talk a bit about the QuadStrat report. The report has 5 components. The report card, which provides the organization's overall score. The quadrant analysis, which integrates performance with strategic priorities. The comparison chart, which compares your organization to all the organizations in our normative base, which is now more than 5,000 private and public organizations. The statement section, which provides the detailed response information. And of course, the comments section, which provides anecdotal information. Let me quickly review each report component. The report card provides the organization's overall strategic performance index, which we call the SPI. We compare the evaluated organization to our normative database of over 5,000 companies. We show the respondent population by group for the specific report, and we list the organization's perceived capabilities and constraints. The quadrant analysis combines the aggregate performance scores with the prioritized rankings of the disciplines. The upper right quadrant shows the high-impact, high-performing disciplines, while the lower right quadrant shows high-impact, low-performing disciplines. The comparison chart, or spidergram, compares the evaluated organization to our normative data. The statement section shows the distribution of responses for each participating group. This is where we often see a wide range of performance perspectives within and between groups. And finally, the comments page, which presents all comments provided by respondents. Whenever I ask CEOs or government executives if they would be willing to spend just 45 minutes online to compare their organizations with the best-run companies in the world, the answer was never no. QuadStrat is very popular with the Type A executives because it's rapid, it's straightforward, and produces a very useful and sensible report. It's also very popular with the Type B executives who love QuadStrat because it surfaces the issues and promotes the conversation they've been wanting to have all along. And this is a great companion piece to a SWOT analysis with a whole lot more information. I can promise you, this assessment will save you time and will target the issues and opportunities that matter most. I hope you'll give it a try.